Hello, everyone. Welcome to the segment on Where are SUTD alumni now? Hi, good afternoon. I'm Corina Chung, Senior Director for Marketing and Communications. So, SUTD have been very blessed to have graduated 6 batches of students into the workforce now. And I'm sure you are very curious as to what are the careers and job opportunities that SUTD graduates go into the world, and how have the education benefited them? So without further ado, we have been very blessed to have our alumni join us this morning, and I'll get them to introduce themselves, tell us about their company, as well as the most memorable job or project that they have worked with. So maybe I'll start with this side. Dexter, yeah, go ahead.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Dexter. I came from the alumni, first pioneer batch from SUTD a few years ago, along with Edward and EL. Currently, I'm actually a senior design engineer in Dyson operations. So what I do is that I create innovative and impactful products for individuals, in particular, more on the area of personal care. It has been really a rewarding experience so far, and definitely it's due to SUTD's education that allows me to be able to be effective in what I do today. So yeah.
So Dexter recently launched the Corel, right? Yeah.
Right. So my company recently launched the Dyson Corel. So it's our first cordless straightener with flexing plate technology. But I will not promote the company here today. But more of it was my first product launch that I've actually spent over 2 years plus working on the thermal performance and leading the architecture of the entire product design for the heater plates. So it was really interesting. Yep.
Yeah. Next we have Nabila.
Hello, I'm Nabila. I'm from the Master of Architecture graduating class of 2019. So I'm actually an architecture designer now at Waha Architects. So I guess the most memorable project that I'm doing is the one that I'm doing now, which is the extension to Enabling Village. So it's actually this compound in Red Hill that is meant to be a training ground and community space for people who are differently abled. So now I'm working on a new build, like a new block of building that is supposed to be kind of like the paragon of universal, accessible design. So, yeah.
And EL.
Great. Hi, everybody. This is EL. I'm also the pioneer batch, similar as Dexter and Ed. We graduated in 2015. Afterwards, I joined Visa Inc. for about 2 years to do the graduate development program. Post that, I did the MIT SUTD dual master program for 18 and 19. Then I came back to Singapore again and joined by Visa to do a solution manager. Currently, I looked after consumer solutions for Visa in Singapore. Most memorable project would be the one that I'm also currently doing to kind of using the skills I've gone in SUTD, especially analytical ones, to apply to my work and add value to Visa's clients. That's for me.
Edward.
All right. Hi, everyone online. I'm Edward. So I think the other two has already said that we are very old people. We graduated in 2015. Yes, probably the oldest in this batch over here right now. I did 3 years in IBM before moving on to my current role in GIC as a senior software developer. So in GIC, I helped to architect and build solutions for our internal equities team to augment them in their investment process. My most memorable project would be a Payla-like application that my team did for a big bank in Southeast Asia. Yep.
Hi guys, my name is Byron, and I guess I'm the junior among these guys. I'm a graduated class of 2019. So I'm currently working now at the Home Team Science and Technology Agency, HDX, as a vehicle systems engineer. And my most memorable project that I've worked on so far is supporting the COVID-19 operations last year. Yeah, last year, where I was organizing and planning out different routes for the deployment of mobile test laboratories. We set up one at Changi Airport, and we have another one near PAF, Pasir Panjang labs, where the users, the scientists themselves can be testing the COVID-19 samples.
Fantastic. So you can see that our graduates are really living the motto of bettering the world through their work and making a huge impact. So, I'm very happy that, you guys are so successful on your jobs right now. So maybe you can share with us, okay, one or two examples of, in terms of what you have experienced in SUTD that were actually helpful in applying to your jobs now. Maybe you start with Byron, to be fair, this side.
Okay, so I think it was mentioned in the previous live session, but I'll just reiterate. So the most important thing I think a lot of us will be saying is in SUTD, we learn to learn. I think that's the most important thing that have come out through us. So like coming from a poly background, when I first entered SUTD, I was very blur in a lot of like the science. But coming in here to do the three sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, and that's where you start to pick things up, and I was forced to learn because the only way to keep up with my peers, to be able to do the multidisciplinary projects, is to actually figure out what your problems are and ask the correct questions to pick up the small little itty-bitty things, and then you learn things over time. So that has really helped me in my job because I graduated in EPD, Engineering Product Development, and I was doing electronic engineering, okay, so power engineering. And then I ended up doing vehicle systems. And I was initially applying for the job to do autonomous vehicles, and I ended up doing electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles and amphibious vehicles and all sorts of vehicles for the home team departments. So I ended up having to learn everything from scratch again. Yeah. And that was, to me, the most important thing that I've got out from SUTD.
What about Edward?
So to build on this point, I think for me, the greatest takeaway from SUTD is actually the design thinking. So design thinking actually allowed me to change the paradigm in the way that we look at problems, the way when we're presented a problem, how do we approach it. So that was something new when I first joined SUTD, and it really changed the way that I looked at problems, and this is something that I believe my employers really appreciated me for that. And also, secondly, SUTD really gave us a lot of projects that spans across not only one discipline, but it's multidisciplinary, as previously mentioned, and that really helped build the way that you have to work on your project, because in the real world, they come from different departments, they come from different backgrounds, and you need to learn how to work with them effectively going forward. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. I think for me, the most memorable one in terms of what I've gained in SUTD, which helped me to, in my day-to-day for my work, is actually communication skills. I think in SUTD, we're very, very privileged to have the student-to-prof ratio, where we were kind of very honored to be able to connect directly with our professors, our faculty, on a daily basis during and off office hours, which helped us to not only get a deeper understanding about the curriculums, the course materials, but also kind of taught us how to communicate to senior people from experience, also from tenure. I think this is very helpful, especially when we just join the workforce. A lot of us will be joining a team which is also very mature. So I think that the specific uniqueness about SUTD has helped me to grow my career in my current work. I think the second piece is actually on problem solving. To our point, we have a lot of projects, so sometimes we're thrown with bigger problems that we want to solve within a time frame with a budget. But I think those type of experience helps us to think about how to break down a bigger problem into smaller steps and tackle them one by one. And of course, just to also echo on the agile design thinking process as well, the iterations and also the process we have gone through had sort of helped us to, in our current work, to be able to be flexible and at the same time think out of the box. That's for me.
Certainly, think out of the box, very highly valued by employers. And so let's hear from Nabila. It's a very different experience with architecture. Go ahead.
I think the most valuable thing in a SUTD is the environment really pushes you to be innovative. I think that the most important thing is that SUTD is full of nerds who are just like very, they're never complacent about how to do things. They're constantly like trying to better themselves, trying to be more efficient, more innovative in the way that they work. So I think that being pushed that way by my peers and by my professors, I think that it has, I've brought it to my workforce as well, like in the way that I work. Even though they would be telling me to do things a certain way, I would still kind of like echo my friend's sentiments and be like, oh, there's a more efficient way to do it. Like I've become more of like a workflow nerd, you know, like trying to find like new softwares that would make it more, you know, make it faster, more innovative and more efficient. So yeah, I think that's also a very important thing that I learned.
Yeah, so you're friends for life, right? And
Sure.
what about Dexter?
All right. Okay, for me, the first one that really hits off was the multidisciplinary. So I just echoed a few of them. So what happens is in Dyson, we tend to, as design engineers, what they call it is casually is do everything. So DE. Yeah. So basically, what we do is we basically solve problems, and problems really varies from various products and across different situations, and with a very tight timeline. So being multidisciplinary means that because our product is integrated, it's an integrated assembly, so you get to work with a lot of different departments from electrical, controls, thermals. So for me, interestingly, fortunately, I managed to learn about thermals in my year one, although my track was electrical track. So I was then tasked to lead the thermals, which was pretty funny. But I picked it up really fast because of the foundations that were taught early in the years. And with that, I also gradually get to also understand about control systems and stuff and work with different individuals to achieve the design target for the particular product performance. And secondly was close to heart is more towards the resources, the access to resources in SUTD. So mainly on the 3D printing resources, especially close relationships with the technicians in the lab, prototyping technicians. So I actually learned a lot about like lathe and also finding a lot of milling, picking up skills like milling, etc., which really comes in really handy when I start thinking about designing for manufacturing in Dyson itself. So when we start designing about plastics, creating prototypes, I know what kind of prototype to create so that it's easier on the technician side, and we are able to achieve a shorter timeline for it. And yeah, so basically a lot of problem-solving skills that is inherent and integrated in this education system. Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah, the fabrication labs are open to students 24/7, as well as each class now have 2 3D printers dedicated to them. So apart from academics and work, okay, our students and alumni are also very well-rounded. They have very interesting activities. So let's hear from them. What do they do outside of work? You can start with Byron.
Okay. So like currently now, because of the COVID-19 situation, we've been staying at home for the extended period of time. So I signed up for, I'm not advertising this, guys. I signed up for F45. So I go for F45 every morning before I go to work. I still work mainly in office because we have confidential documents, so you cannot really bring it home. But yeah, so I travel back and forth to work, and then at night, once in a while, I go climbing with my friends. I picked up climbing the last year of SUTD, part of the fifth row showcase, the fifth row things, and then a couple of my friends just dragged me along, and I picked up rock climbing from there. So in SUTD, there's a heck lot of fifth rows or CCAs, and please, don't waste your time studying all the time. Just go out and have fun, because it's your university days. I can't imagine you just mugging every day. It's not healthy for you. You're going to be a very boring person. And and me saying this, I mean, like, I'm an engineer, right? So EPD, we are very boring people. We are like nerds most of the time. But it's good to get out once in a while and just hang out, meet new friends, try new things. Yeah.
What about Edward?
For me, besides the usual Netflix, gaming, during my free time, I also go out to learn dance classes. So after the COVID situation has eased up a little, dance classes, same as F45, I think they have started opening up and accepting people back in. So I've gone back in. So before the whole COVID situation, I've been actively dancing, and now that COVID has eased up a little bit in the restrictions, I'm back in dancing again.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go next. So for me, in terms of outside of work, I usually go to yoga classes 3 to 4 times a week. I've met with a few alums in my studios. I won't name them, but they know. It's quite rewarding for me in terms of physicality, because during COVID, it's a very confined space that we have to stay in. So I think it helps me to get back track on physical stuff. Sure. And apart from that, also do some voluntary work. So I've been helping out the Singapore Cancer Society. In the past few years, been working to help distribute food supplies to the beneficiary families. Another volunteering work was on helping students in Assumption Pathway School in terms of building a career workshop for them. Over 200 students for about 2 years, work with them together to look at where they might be interested in after graduation.
Okay, Nabila.
I feel like everyone just started picking up hobbies because of COVID, which I did as well. I started aerial dancing, and I started going to the gym as well. I'm becoming like a gym bro, and I think it's definitely useful to have hobbies outside of work, and I think it's also important that my work is in the middle of the city, so all of my gym, my aerial dance studios, it's all nearby, and I can just go there in the morning or after work or even in between work sometimes. And I'm also working on these illustration series. I've been trying to do more projects in my art practice that I'm trying to pick up. I'm currently doing a mural project in somebody's house and stuff like that. I guess another thing that I'm doing is also I am engaged in a few talks and seminars with the Jacques Rougerie Foundation, which is this foundation for visionary architecture for space and sea. So yeah, I've been doing that as well.
Yes. Yeah, Nabila was our award winner in that foundation. So we can commission you to paint murals for building.
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm actually here to sell my work. I'm also selling prints.
What about Dexter?
Okay, hi. So during COVID period, I kind of got married too.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
So I'm currently enjoying married life. I'm very busy, but on the weekends, usually I'm involved in voluntary activities in the CC. So I was actually in the YEC for I think over 10 years. And currently, recently, because I'm kind of also keen to merge with my passion in making stuff. So on the side, I've always been creating small little trinkets, etc. And experimenting with all the different coding as well as Arduino stuff. But then again, now I tend to bring it towards volunteering so that I can have a direct impact on the community. So what I do is we organize like STEAM education for kids, for low-income families, as well as reaching out to the public. So currently mainly maintaining the Facebook group a little bit. Hopefully with COVID returning, I could organize more impactful activities. But yeah, I'm still pursuing all the small little things that I've been doing for the last few years. Just scaling it up a bit. Yeah.
Excellent, yeah. And our younger students have also been the beneficiary of Edward's dancing training with the dance derivative. So let's move on to the live questions we have online. Okay. So wow, okay, what made you choose your current job or company after graduating? So the most recent memory will be Byron, right? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just thinking, how did this happen? So, okay, I guess just before, my final trimester, before graduating, typical kiasu Singaporean, right? You definitely want to go and get a job, so your parents won't nag at you. So I applied out to many different companies and I got replies, go for interviews. But what made me choose the Home Teen Science and Technology Agency mainly was because when I was interning in Hope Technique, I wanted to do vehicle systems. I wanted to try doing like a vehicles-based project. And at that time, they didn't allow interns to touch vehicles. So I was quite disappointed on that. And across my time in SUTD, I've actually done many different kind of robotic projects. So I've done like bipedal robots, four-legged robots, wheeled robots. My FYP was a drone, but I've never done vehicles. So I was when I got back my I think four offers, and I was considering what I wanted to do, I in the end ultimately chose to do vehicle systems and just try something new from the get-go. Yeah.
All right. So SUTD students generally get 2 to 6 job offers. We are very, very blessed. And Edward actually changed job. So maybe you can share with us the journey. How do you develop yourself through that?
Okay, so I mean, when you change the job, there's definitely a lot of factors. There's always the push and pull factor in every decision that you make. So one of the reasons why I changed, there was a push factor from my old role. I had to travel a lot because I was a consultant. And due to that, I was feeling a little homesick. Yeah, because I've been traveling so much that I do not even spend a lot of time in Singapore, and I do not meet my friends. I'm always overseas. So that was one of the reasons why I changed job to look for something that's based in Singapore. And of course, there are other pull factors from my current role as well.
Yeah, and Edward also got married. Yeah, so time to spend some time with their wives. Okay, and maybe switch to Nabila. Okay, in terms of working in the architecture arena, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually took a while to kind of find my footing. At first, I was working in an art gallery for about 3 months actually, while I was applying for jobs in architecture firms. And then I got a job, and I worked there for 11 months, but I didn't feel comfortable in the environment, and I wasn't very, I mean, it also had to do with the COVID situation, working from home, and it was also like very personal reasons, and I started to apply to another company, which is Woha Architects, which I really resonate with their visions, and I really liked their designs, and I knew a few people there, and actually now that I'm there, I can feel the difference because I get along with my coworkers very well, and it's very important to be in an environment that really appreciates you, really nice to you, and really want to train you. It's very important, and it's been a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And we actually had the COO of Woha yesterday on the panel, and she was
Shireen.
singing the praises of SUTD. graduates in the firm. So we have been very, very lucky to have the majority of architecture firms working with SUTD, so from DPA to WOHA and RSP, etc. Maybe we can move on to the next question so that the others can chime in. How active is the SUTD alumni? In terms of, coming back to SUTD, definitely. Maybe we can have Dexter share, how he continues to work with us.
Okay, so for me, I'm actually still in very, very close relationships with a lot of our SUTD students. So in particular, especially my first year bunk mate, Guang Hua. So anyway, we've been gaming every night. But other than that, I'm definitely in close relationship with some of our SUTD staffs and our professors. So mainly more on engaging with keeping up with SUTD's recent activities. Asking what kind of new things are they looking for. So in particular, one of my professor is Prof. Di Hui, so I've been asking him so what's the next thing is he doing, etc., and how can I help lah. So in the sense that we are kind of close-knit in various ways, and we also do have our SUTD community that Ping Bing is organizing lah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, excellent. So we have an SUTD Alumni Association as well. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for this segment. So if you have questions that you need to be answered, you can go on to the Discord live chats. And thank you very much for dialing in, and thank you our alumni for joining us on this panel. Have a good weekend.